This season, Instacart has your back to school. As in, they've got your back to school lunch favorites like snack packs and fresh fruit. And they've got your back to school supplies like backpacks, binders, and pencils. And they've got your back when your kid casually tells you they have a huge school project due tomorrow. Let's face it, we were all that kid. So first, call your parents to say I'm sorry, and then download the Instacart app to get delivery in as fast as 30 minutes all school year long. Get a $0 delivery fee with your first 3 orders while supplies last. Minimum $10 an order. Additional terms apply.
We acknowledge the traditional owners of country throughout Australia and recognise their continuing connection to land, waters and culture. We pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Welcome to This Song Is Yours, a music podcast where we chat to a new guest each week, talk about their life and creative endeavours, and talk to them about some of the music they love. Our show works by chatting to our guests about music, their songwriting techniques, and occasionally getting them to make you a playlist of the songs they love. Welcome to episode 135. I'm your host, Simon Fink. Our guest today is George Alice. The pop singer-songwriter from South Australia recently released her debut EP, entitled Growing Pains. In today's episode, we're speaking with George about why she took her time with the EP, her Unearthed experience, and we talk about her love of Adele. Here we go. Our guest today is one of the most exciting pop singer-songwriters in Australia at the moment. Having won J Unearthed High back in 2019 with the track Circles, she's just released her debut EP last week, entitled Growing Pains. Please welcome to This Song Is Yours, George Alice. Good morning. How are we?
Good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for asking. Where are you joining us from today?
I am in my bedroom in my parents' house in Adelaide. It's pretty exciting.
There's nothing wrong with that. We are also in Adelaide, so South Australia represent.
Go off, South Australia.
George, thank you very much for joining us today. It is an exciting time for you. The EP Growing Pains has been out for a few days. Congratulations.
Thank you. It's very exciting.
It is very exciting. I've seen a lot of press, a lot of just coverage, people posting about it. How has it been so far having this EP out?
It's been so good. I feel like there's a weight lifted off my shoulders. Like, you know, there was a lot of time that we put into making this, and it was kind of like from the start of my journey until now, it's like everything that we've done, we've put into this body of work. And so it's kind of like a big relief to have it out. I feel like I've just let my child out into the world or something, and I'm like, I'm a bit scared, but you can go do your thing now. Like, it's fine. But I feel really good about it.
I imagine that it is kind of like that you work on this for quite a while, and that it's like I won't go too far into the analogy because I feel like it might get too messy, but it is like as a child, like the fruit of your labour is now out into the world for people to consume, judge, whatever it may be, hopefully enjoy, and I think mostly enjoy.
Yeah, hopefully that's the case. But it's exactly how it feels. I feel like I've just let it run free.
This is the first. You've obviously been releasing singles throughout the last number of years, but it is the first kind of collection or body of work since you won Unearthed High back in 2019. When did you kind of sit down and pull the trigger and go, now is the right time to release the EP?
I think it was kind of like probably end of 2020, 2021. It was kind of like, okay, and now we're kind of leading towards something. We've got some singles out, we've been playing all the shows and, doing what we can. But then obviously, the world kind of came to a standstill, and it was like, okay, now it's probably a good time to really hone in on the EP and what I want it to be and the vision for it, and see if we can get it out. And, obviously everything takes time with back end of things. So it was just kind of letting things happen naturally, and I wasn't going to rush it, and I didn't want to, make this EP come out and then not feel good about it, or, there's bits and pieces that I could have done better or anything like that, especially growing up and making this record. It was I was probably 15 when I made the first song on it. So it's I didn't want to put out a song that, you know, in 2 years' time I would have been like, oh, if I'd have just waited until I'd grown up a little bit, and then I'd, you know, would have learnt more and known more to be able to make it better. So yeah, probably I'd say like last year was probably like, okay, now's the time where it feels good.
Yeah, of course. I imagine that there's quite a lot of like 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds that might not have had that level of foresight and would definitely be possibly cringing at something that they've released now. I know I maybe did the same, so I think it should be commended that you did kind of wait.
Thank you. Yeah, I think so. I think it was really important for the way I was going.
100%. I know that after winning Unearthed High, I think a lot of acts would kind of maybe rush into, and again, each to their own, everyone's journey is different. I think a number of people would kind of rush into releasing something or putting something out straight away. I know that you took a little bit more time and space with that. You did a bit of traveling, I believe, to New York and London. Do you think that helped with the process of like your songwriting craft and I guess the eventual EP that is out now?
Yeah, I think so. I know there was there's one song on the EP that I made while I was in LA, and it was my first LA trip. And you know, I'd never really like been in the world of writing sessions before. Like I've only done like a couple at the time, and thought it was a good time for me to be able to just like focus in on, you know, meet some good people and learn from them and take that opportunity just to like soak everything up. But I think just the traveling and meeting so many people, because I did meet literally everybody that I could have met. Like I met so many people that it was just like, okay, there's just so much to learn here, so many amazing mentors, and there was just so much that I could have soaked up. So I'm glad that I took the time to do that. And now at least then I had all of that energy to put into this EP rather than, you know, kind of just letting all of that knowledge float around for a few years until I figure out what to do with it. It was kind of like there was something there for me to put that energy into, which I think has really helped the final outcome.
Yeah, definitely. The current single, Hold On, is kind of just going gangbusters everywhere. I feel like that every time I turn on Triple J or the radio or anything on social media, it is going very, very well. And from what I understand is that this song was written around the same time as Circles back then, and it's just kind of been, you know, gestating or growing in the background since until it's released this year.
Yeah, I actually wrote Hold On the same day that I wrote Circles. Well, I started it probably a bit before, because I had the track already from Xavier done, and it was kind of just like very, very just rough, just kind of like a blueprint of what it could be. So I was just trying to like practice writing, and I was probably like 15, just trying to practice writing, and I was in my bedroom writing this little song. And then I went to Melbourne and met up with Maribel, and we wrote Circles, and then we wrote Hold On, because I was like, I have this idea and I'm kind of stuck with it. Like I don't really know what to do with it. And she helped me finish it. And then, yeah, we kind of just like chipped away at it over the last few years, which I think it needed that time, especially within, you know, I didn't want it to be, you know, like one of those songs where it kind of like lived in the shadows of anything else that I'd put out. And because I didn't think it was as strong as any of the others. But yeah, I'm really glad that I waited until the time that I did, because I feel like now it's like another new chapter and another step. It sounds different to my other stuff, and yeah, now it kind of fits in a lot better.
Yeah, 100%. Both songs, I feel, show this incredible maturity and kind of songwriting chops, almost not beyond your years. Obviously, you're doing quite well with it, but it is like these. This like beautiful kind of classic songwriting. And I'm curious, when you were coming up and starting out in music, obviously at a very young age, do you remember when you kind of sat down to begin with and worked out that you could songwrite and enjoyed the challenge of songwriting?
I think it took me a really long time. I say a long time, I was still like 15, but because I really had this goal of doing it from when I was like very, very young, and I was probably 10, 11, and I started, you know, playing like cover sets in cafes and in pubs and stuff, and every weekend I was in like a different cafe or restaurant, like playing in the corner all these cover songs. And I was like, I love all these songs so much that I want to be able to write a song that I love just as much as these covers, and I just couldn't do it. For some reason it just wouldn't work, and I was getting so frustrated. And then I kind of took a step away from it and was like, okay, just live your life. And, if you can't write songs, you can't write songs. That's okay. And kind of just accepted that I could not write songs. And then one day I kind of just sat down and started writing this it was almost like a poem. And it was about a movie that I was watching at the time. And it wasn't even a finished song. I kind of just like wrote this like little, there was these two songs, one about like a war or something, and then another one about coffee, like just something like super basic and weird and boring. But it kind of helped flick that switch, and I feel like I needed something to flick the switch. And then everything just came so naturally after that. Once I figured out you just got to stop thinking about it and then it will happen. But yeah, now with everything that I've learned, all the people that I've met, I'm hoping that I can continue to grow this passion and hopefully improve it a little bit.
Yeah, of course. I feel that, again, like the talent or the caliber of songwriting that this EP shows is just fantastic, and would the fact that, I guess, your age, with how young you are, it is quite impressive. I know that the EP was produced, I believe, with Gab Strum, who is also affectionately known or professionally known as Japanese Wallpaper. How did that kind of working relationship come about?
I met Gab. I feel like I super randomly met Gab at like backstage at an all-day show, like right after Unearthed High. And I love Japanese Wallpaper. Like I've always listened to his music, but didn't really put two and two together until someone was like, hey, that's Japanese Wallpaper. And I was like, oh, I listen. Like I literally have your songs in my playlist. And then we kind of just hung out, and then we just kind of like stayed in contact and stayed friends. And then, like I would get songs back and they wouldn't really feel, like where I wanted them, or maybe not in the same lane as what I was trying to get to with this EP. And I didn't really know what I was doing with it. But I know that Gab has won Unearthed High, so he's been through it. And he also, like, we listen to a lot of similar music, and also he's just like a genius, like so beyond his years that he just knows what he's doing. And I just feel like he was just the perfect mentor, rather than, I didn't look to him as like a producer to finish this record. I looked to him as a mentor that I could learn from. And that's exactly what I did. And I kind of just literally would just go and sit in his studio for days, and we would just work away at these songs until they felt right. And he smashed it out the park. He just, understood everything that I was doing. And he also never made me feel like I was asking a dumb question, because I asked questions and I would always be embarrassed that they were like stupid or that I should have known the answer. But he never made me feel stupid for that, which was good.
That's very nice to hear. I'm glad that he is, all the accounts that we've heard from him, I think Tyne James Org and a few other people have all said that he's an absolute gentleman. So I'm glad to hear that reputation is still intact.
Yes, he is the best person ever.
When you are in the studio with someone like him, do you find, I guess, what do you like as a collaborator? Do you enjoy having someone to bounce ideas off of, whether they be a co-writer, co-producer, or do you prefer to kind of be able to have a idea almost finished to a degree and then have someone come in at like a later stage and pick it apart then?
This season, Instacart has your back to school. As in, they've got your back to school lunch favorites like snack packs and fresh fruit. And they've got your back to school supplies like backpacks, binders, and pencils. And they've got your back when your kid casually tells you they have a huge school project due tomorrow. Let's face it, we were all that kid. So first, call your parents to say I'm sorry, and then download the Instacart app to get delivery in as fast as 30 minutes all school year long. Get a $0 delivery fee with your first 3 orders while supplies last. Minimum $10 an order. Additional terms apply.
It took a lifetime to find the person you want to marry. Finding the perfect engagement ring is a lot easier. At BlueNile.com, you can find or design the ring you've always dreamed of, with help from Blue Nile's jewelry experts, who are on hand 24/7 to answer questions, and the ease and convenience of shopping online. For a limited time, get $50 off your purchase of $500 or more with code LISTEN at BlueNile.com. That's $50 off with code LISTEN at BlueNile.com.
I think when I was younger, when I first started, I really loved to have co-writers. And I think that came down to not having a lot of confidence, and I really didn't believe in what I was doing, and I didn't have anything to show for what I had in my brain. I was kind of just like, oh, I think I can write a song, but there's no proof that I can write a song. So, I could be awful at it and just, being cocky. So, I used to always go with co-writers and really dominant producers that would help me, guide me in the right direction, which was really good to learn from. But then I think there comes a time where you have to leave that behind and kind of sway into going your own direction. And that's when I kind of just started writing. My mom and dad bought me a piano for my 17th birthday or my 16th birthday. And I just kind of started sitting at the piano and just writing all these, there would be maybe a verse and a chorus or just a chorus. And then I would take them to Gab or take them to a producer and say, this is what I've got. And then, we both would kind of work alongside each other a lot more, which I really like. And we just kind of form the song, but do it in a little parallel way, which was really nice.
Yeah, of course. I've noticed online that one of the tracks of the EP, Haunted, seems to kind of be getting a lot of love, a lot of fan love for this song, which I believe does close out the EP. As we discussed before, it is like your baby, your child going out into the world, and I know that you're never meant to ask a parent if they have a favourite child, but on this occasion, are we able to pick a standout child from the pack?
I think the standout child song for me is definitely Haunted. I feel like that's my little baby. And I don't know, I feel like I could be totally wrong because I have a bad memory, but I could have been the youngest when I wrote that song or started writing that song, because I was still in high school and I would just not go to class and I would just sit and hide away and write these songs. And I think that was one of the songs that I kind of started with. So it's so cool to be able to finish my first body of work with a song that I made when I was 14, 15, and then got to finish it with my favorite producers in the world. So yeah, it's pretty special.
Yeah, of course. It is a beautiful song.
Thank you.
Of course. The EP is it's your first body of work, as we said, but it's also your first release under Lorna Vista Recordings, which is an incredible label, and you're label mates with people like St. Vincent, Soccer Mummy. I think Denzel Curry's on there as well.
Yeah.
Being at such a young age and signing to a label like that, what was that kind of experience like?
It was really good. They always made me feel like there was no pressure, which I think was really nice. And I think for a long time, it's really hard to find, especially when you have something that a kid that wins Unearthed High. I think it takes a long time for people to register that you actually are a kid still. Yes, you're out doing all these amazing things and, you've got this song that's doing well and, you have to carry yourself like a businesswoman and, do all the stuff. And I'm talking all the adult talk, but I was not walking the adult walk. I was 16. I didn't know what I was doing. And I think a lot of A&Rs and, label people, maybe they forget that sometimes. And, I think Loma Vista, they were just the best at talking to me like a kid still and just being whatever you want to do. If you want to make a song today, go and make a song and, we'll give you some feedback, and just super open-minded, which I think is what I need to be able to grow. But yeah, just the best. I mean, there's a lot of amazing labels in Australia, especially, as well as America. But love those guys.
Yeah, of course. Just touching on what you said, have you spoken to any of the following Unearthed High artists since your win? Because I imagine, as you said, it is a shock to the system also, almost. You are a kid when all this is happening.
Yeah, I feel like I always try to reach out to everyone in Unearthed High, and I feel like oddly we're all kind of friends. I feel like it's this weird unspoken thing that everyone's just buddies anyway, because it's we're the only kids in the whole world that can feel this feeling. There's no one else that's been through what we went through, and I think that's really special. It's this weird little bonding thing that we didn't even know about. But I always reach out to everyone, and especially I reached out to Teenage Jones, because we've known each other for a long time, being from Adelaide. And we both kind of watched each other's journeys from when we were 14 until now. So to be able to be there for each other and even just at their party that we threw for them when they One Unearthed High. It's like I could just be there and just, everything's going to be fine. Like it's, this is the best thing ever. And, you've got all this support around you. I feel like that was so nice just to be a part of. But yeah, I always message, even if I see just like up and coming artists, I'm a shameless DMer. I'll just DM people and be like, hey, here for you if you need some love.
That's very cool and very heartwarming, I think, just to be able to for you to pass on your knowledge and I guess experience to those people and be able to make sure that they know that it's okay as well.
Yeah, I think it's really nice to be able to do.
Yeah, of course. The EP is taking you out on the road again. You are getting to support it in May, and you're also playing Splendour later in the year, which I imagine is very exciting.
It's very, very exciting. It's a big bucket list.
I guess to begin with, how prepped are you? How ready are you to kind of get back on the road and play some of these songs to audiences?
I think I'm ready. I feel like we've been playing a couple of festivals every now and then, and obviously I feel like everyone's been you've put all your instruments in the wardrobe for the last 2 years, but I'm taking them out and we're doing the thing and it's going to be great. And I'm really excited just to be able to show a different side of me. I feel like I've done a lot of growing up, and I think that that's a really nice thing to be able to showcase over these next few shows and tours. And I think with this EP being out, I feel so much more comfortable already performing these songs, and I have really bad imposter syndrome, so I'm always no one cares, no one cares what you're singing right now, no one's ever heard it before, so they don't care about it. But now the songs are out, they'll care about it hopefully. So that'll be a really nice feeling, I think.
Yeah, of course. I imagine that you're going to have a lot of people there who are singing these songs back to you and who are showing you that they care about them as well.
Fingers crossed.
George, would you be okay to talk about the playlist that you sent through today?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, I was going to ask, I know that you're a big Adele fan, and that Rolling in the Deep might have been a big factor of you becoming a singer or a songwriter as well. Is that right?
Yeah, Rolling in the Deep was the first song, I guess, that I started singing, and I would play the little album on my Hello Kitty radio in my bedroom when I was 7, and I would rock out to it, and that's kind of what taught me how to sing.
That's very, very cool. What was it about that song initially, I guess, that drew you in? Because Adele has quite a few songs in her catalogue that, showcase her huge voice and intense songwriting. But yeah, what was it about that song?
I don't know. I just really I think it was the biggest one off the album at the time. And I just, I would hear it on the radio, every time I got in the car, I'd be yeah, this song slaps. It's so good. And then I would not get in the car unless it wasn't playing, unless it was playing. And, I just loved everything about it. I loved her voice, and I loved how the chorus just erupted into this big emotional thing. I didn't even know what was happening, but I just thought it was so cool. And even the feeling that I would get when I would be singing along to it, it's it just builds and then explodes into this big chorus. And yeah, it was something that I hadn't really heard before.
It is a great track. Just overall, I don't think I can word it any better or simpler.
Exactly.
One of the other tracks on the playlist that you included, I'm not sure if you can see behind me, was Motion Sickness by Phoebe Bridgers, which we will always gladly talk about on this podcast. Yes. Phoebe Bridgers fans. What was it about this song that made you include it?
I just feel Phoebe Bridgers is another big, kind of on par with Adele in my brain, because she just, the way that she writes is just really, really clever, and I just love the storytelling. And I think that's something that I've always tried to do, but I never really had a reference or an inspiration for that. And I was always just trying to shoot in the dark and kind of, write this certain way. And then when I heard it, I was oh my gosh, this is what I've been trying to do for the last gazillion years. And now I had this amazing person to look up to, and this song is just I reckon it's like one for the books. It's like the greatest of all time.
I would agree with you on that, very much so.
Yeah.
With, I guess, touching on what you've just said, like with your own songwriting, because I think the thing that I really enjoyed about this EP was the fact that the songs, they are mainly electronic or like kind of dancey, poppy, whatever you kind of genre people want to place them in, but they're also good songs at the core of them. I think there's, if people want to go online, and we'll put some in the show notes as well, is that these songs work as singer-songwriter singer-songwritery kind of songs as well. Like there's online clips of you playing Hold On, Circles, I think Mid-Years, like just on acoustic guitar, and they seem to still hold up in that structure as well.
Yeah, I think so. I think a lot of these songs are like songs that I just kind of grew up listening to, and I think I pull inspiration from all these hidden places that I just don't really remember at the time. And I think that, yeah, looking through the EP and then comparing it to like, you know, the songs that I've grown up with, I think that it's pretty much like a reflection of my childhood, and that's why I called it Growing Pains, because I feel like it has been a reflection of me until now, and I think that's going to be really cool for me to look back on in, you know, a million years' time. I can look back at this EP and go, that's practically my childhood.
That's very fair. I can respect that. The last track I wanted to talk about was it's a song that I think might be like a cousin or like a distant relative to a song of yours. You've included Never Really Over by Katy Perry.
Yes.
And I feel that this song could be like, yeah, a distant relation to Mid-Years in the way that the verses kind of build and then the chorus sonically just like cuts through, if that makes sense.
Oh my gosh, I've never thought of that before, and that's the biggest compliment I could ever receive, because this song is like an anthem, and I've listened to it religiously over the last like year, and I've never even thought of that, and now Mid-Years is like my favorite song, so that's good.
I was listening to it. I was listening to your playlist and obviously listening to the EP as well in preparation, and then just like it gave me the same kind of like rush, I guess, for lack of a better term, when that chorus does drop in and it slices through. It's what is it about this song that made you include it on your playlist?
I think it is like just the poppiness of it. Like I would never give in and admit my love of pop music ever until like the last couple of years, where I'm like, okay, pop music is just like, if you run pop music, you run the world. Like it's the greatest thing. And this song especially, you know, you hear it on the radio. It's probably one of those songs that, you know, plays all the time, and like it's like the same, like out of the 4 tracks that get played on like, you know, national radio, and like played over and over again, and everyone's heard it, and you know, probably sick of it by now because it gets played so much, but I never got sick of it. And I just love how like stagnant everything was, and then it would erupt into this chorus, and it was just like the most, like the simplest thing ever, but it just worked so well, and it was so just like chugs along, like so stagnant. But yeah, I think that's why I loved it. And now looking at Mid-Years and comparing the two, the chorus of Mid-Years I think does the exact same thing, so that makes so much sense.
Agreed. It is a fantastic track, as is Mid-Years, and I imagine that there's a lot of people doing a similar thing, a lot of young people, regardless of gender or whatever, that are listening to your EP and kind of having that same thought that you were about Never Really Over.
Well, I hope so. Fingers crossed they are.
Of course. George, congratulations again on Growing Pains, the EP. It is out now, and thank you very much for being on the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
And that's our show. A massive thank you to George Alice for her time. Growing Pains is out now, and we've left links in the show notes if you'd like to stream the EP or see her on tour. We also want to give a huge shout out to Rhiannon at Positive Feedback for helping out with today's interview. You can find a link to George's playlist in the show notes, where you'll be able to listen to all of her playlist picks. If you like this show, please subscribe wherever you get your pods and stay up to date when new episodes are released. We release new shows each Wednesday and Friday morning, and we now have a Patreon, which you can find within the show notes of this episode. You can follow the playlist profile on Spotify, and you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Until next week, cheers.
Imagine the softest sheets you've ever felt. Now imagine them getting even softer over time. That's what you'll feel with Bowl and Branch's best-selling signature sheets in 100% organic cotton. In a recent customer survey, 96% replied that Bowl and Branch sheets get softer with every wash. Start getting your best night's sleep in sheets that get softer and softer for years to come. Try their sheets with a 30-night guarantee. Plus, get 15% off your first order at bowlandbranch.com, code BUTTERY. Exclusions apply. See site for details.